Hello everyone and welcome to my video about what games I played at Spiel Essen 2023. I'll try and give you a super quick brief overview of what it's about, if I enjoyed it, if I've got it to review so you can hear more about it once I've got more plays under my belt, because some of these games I've played once but I've got a review copy. Other games, well, I've played a handful of times, but I'm still going to play more before an actual review comes out on the channel. Without further ado, first off, the first game I played at Spiel this year was Tangram City, and that is from Kiri-ai board games. This is a tile placement game where you've got tangram shapes, but effectively it's got squares, triangles, and some bits which are square and triangular, and you're going to be adding these together. Now, it seems a very simple one. You're flipping over a card and that's the thing you're adding, but you can see a little bit of information about what card is coming up. Maybe your opponent can see a different card that's coming up later in the round. So everyone's got a bit of information, and there's a nice balance there between you've got to have some buildings, but you've got to have parks, because if you perfectly balance the amount of them, well, you're going to get a load of bonus points. But really, it did enjoy that as our first play. It's always good when the first game goes off well. Next off, we went to play Viking Seesaw. So this is one of those small Itten boxes where you are balancing things, slightly heavy metal balls or cubes or a slight wooden meeple or a box or something like that, and you're balancing them on this seesaw. Now, we almost not broke the game, but we managed to have two of like the heaviest cubes on one side. So it was almost, can you balance it, rather than are you going to cause the ship to move and a lot fall off. But we had a lot of fun with that little sort of experience. And then we played another one from Itten, which was Ninja Master. Now, this one had a few extra rules going into it. You had to know what you should grab, what you shouldn't grab. But once you're actually going, super quick. You're like grabbing, I'm grabbing the purple meeple because in the middle the dice have been rolled and there's a load of purple ninja faces on the dice. Oh no, I've taken it and there's a purple cloud. That means I'm losing a load of points because you don't want the purple cloud. And then maybe someone else is grabbing the katana sword from someone else and stealing some of their points because it's shown up. It's a very quick one. I don't think it's the sort of one that I'd get to the table very often, but one or two plays, that was quite good fun at a convention. Next up was it was at the same stand, but it was Newsboys, so that is Sashi and Sashi. This was very much on my anticipated list, so is it gonna be good? And yeah, I kind of enjoyed it. It's a flip and roll and write, so you roll some dice and then you see what the card is also giving you. Some nice combo opportunities, as with any good sort of roll and write, flip and write, where it's like you finished this area perfectly, cross off another little section, maybe that triggers another one and another one, and some choices of, I'm not going to use the dice to cross off stuff on the main board, I'm going to go along this track instead. I don't know how many times you'd want to play it, but a cool experience, a cool flip and roll and write. I'd like to give it more goes, but I didn't pick it up, to be fair. The queue was quite long at that booth most days. Then we went over and played World Wonders. We didn't get to play a full game. A few of these games were shortened. Unfortunately, this was one of them, because while it was good playing it, it would have been better to see how final scoring really happened in a full game, with things being surrounded and the wonders you picked up along the way. But it felt like every turn you were like, I want to do so much, but I can't do much at all. So you really had to choose what you were going for. Now, we played it at 5, and I don't feel that game is designed really to work with that higher player count, because it meant a lot of time coming back to your turn. I think, 3 or even at 2, that would be really snappy around the table and you've still got the wonderful tile placement and wonders. But obviously I haven't played it at that player count, so I don't know. I didn't get a review copy and didn't buy it because they'd sold out pretty much, so I'll look to probably get that one at some point though. Sea Salt and Paper, which is right there. We have played this a number of times. We demoed it. I've got a review copy, so something will be coming out about it on the channel, as well as the Extra Salt expansion. We've not touched Extra Salt yet. We've kind of been just trying to get to grips with the standard mode, the standard game, but we've been enjoying it. Even people that don't like the take thatiness of the shark combo one, which is steal a card from an opponent, it's just enough that it sort of adds the tension that someone could steal from you, but it also doesn't trigger too much. So I like that. I've actually won at it a few times, which is always nice and slightly surprising. Then we went and we hit a load of things on Thursday. Hands down, we did so much on that one day because it was much emptier. Waterfall Park, so the re-theming of Chinatown. You'll have seen a news video on the channel when that was announced. We got to go and play it, and I actually really enjoyed that. So easy rules. You could teach that to pretty much anyone you want, but really good player interaction of, I've got this space that you want, you've got that tile that I want, can we make a trade? Oh, add a coin to that and then I'll think about it. All that sort of goodness. I think people will enjoy that. I've not played the original Chinatown, but if it was anything like that, I'm sure I would have enjoyed that too. The theme doesn't do much, to be honest, but it's nice, bright, vibrant, and the game was really fun. Then we played Back at the Room. The rest of these games, we played Nanatori Dori. Very small little card game, very light, very simple. Effectively, on your turn, play a higher number card or a pair of higher number cards or whatever from your hand compared to the one in the middle by the previous player. So there's a 2. You could either play a 3, a pair, or pair of anything, because you're either going one higher by number or higher by number of cards. But if you're playing like 3 cards, they've all got to be the same number. That's a really cool one, but very quick. Not much depth to it, but I can see it coming out for game nights. So really enjoy that, and it was on my anticipated list. It was one of the ones that I really was so excited to go and get. I'm glad it turned out well. Then we also played some more Sea Salt and Paper when we got back to the room after demoing it at the convention and I got a review copy. We then cracked that open that night and played it. The next morning we started with this one, Sunrise Lane, and you're like, how? That's in Shrink, and that's because that's a review copy from Horrible Guild, so I'll be playing that more. Now we played it at 3, but I'm excited to see how cutthroat that goes at 2. I don't know whether I'll like it as being as cutthroat as I think it might be at 2, but excited to play that because it's a really simple card game where you're playing this card to place on that colour. Play this card to put, these 2 cards to put on this colour. And that's all I can do, so I'm drawing up, but you're trying to make it so you can land on these spaces which are worth many more points because they multiply. So it's like I'm putting 3 houses down, a 3-heighted house on this. It's got 3 pips, that's 3 times 3, 9 points. So yeah, I really liked the easiness of that. Quite a chilled game to play. Very much looking at getting that back to the table. Bonsai, a small little, well, relatively small, probably a little bit smaller than this box, maybe about the same actually, from DV Games. That was, I'm not going to say I was let down by it because I think we played with 4, but one of the players that was at the table was very slow, and I think that sort of maybe dragged the experience down because actually taking the cards and getting stuff and building out that bonsai tree, it looked stunning. It just took a long time to come back round the table when it's like my turns I felt were cool, they were just far apart and there wasn't too necessarily actually that much reason why they were. So I think that person just had a bit too much analysis paralysis. They also had struggled with a few of the rules, though the rules I did find were quite simple and easy. So I enjoyed it, but I think I'd have enjoyed it more, maybe at a lower player count or whatever. But yeah, Bonsai was quite good fun. Skyrockets, I I had it here in my Essen haul video, but it's obviously not there, it's over there because I moved some off the table. I played that as part of a sort of a demo while I was talking to the press team at Floodgate. Really enjoyed it. They gave me a copy, so I'll be playing it more because it's got loads of scenarios of like this is how the setup starts, but it's not like one of those games where it's like, oh, you've done this scenario, you're never going to do it again, because it's all about flipping these sand timers over really quickly. I played it with people I didn't know and enjoyed it, but I think it would only be better when you've got like friends or family around the table to enjoy it with. Yeah, it's very quick, very sort of quick. Oh, the red one's running out. We need to play red. I can't play red. We'll just play something, and hopefully the next player can. So that's some cool ones. And like in the scenario we played, like I say, it's all scenario based, so everyone might be different. But in the scenario we did, there were some cards face down that you had to flip at some points. So it was like super risky. Some of those like almost saved us. Other ones put us like on the cliff edge of doom of the sand timer running out. So yeah, that was quite good fun, and excited to play more of that. After that one, we went on. The last game we played that day at the convention was the art project. Now, we did play maybe a minor rule, but maybe not a minor rule about the hearts, when you can spend them or can't spend them. I'm not entirely sure we played like the times that you can or have to quite right, but otherwise we enjoyed it. I played it with 6 people, and it was still pretty quick because you're having to discuss, and there's no actual turn order, and you're kind of always involved because you're discussing. It's a co-op game with quite a lot going on, but I enjoyed it and I'd like to play a bit more of it. Hopefully I will at some point. We then went back to the room, but a couple of us did play Deductio and Kiri-ai the Jewel. I'm butchering the pronunciation of that one, I'm sure. Deductio, I did speak to the designer actually pre-Essen. I spoke to Nick a bit about the design process, so go and check that interview out. But it's effectively very much a logic deduction style card game where you are playing cards from a market in front of you, trying to reveal as little information as possible. So say I've got the number 2, I play a card in front of me that says I've not got the 11 or the number 1. Not too much information, but then maybe I have to play another card when it's back round to me, and it's the best option for me is it's lower than 13. Well, I'm starting to give it away from the cards, but there's still plenty to guess. When you think you know what someone else is, or you want to take a punt, you can, but if you're wrong, you have to give 2 bits of information up about your card. So yeah, it's full of deduction, and there's a few things where it's like, this is going to give loads of information, but it gives you a bit, because maybe you can look at the top card of the deck, or you can take a guess for free without any negative consequences. So we've enjoyed our few plays of that. I'd like to try it with different people just to see how it vibes. But Deductio had a lot of fun with that in Essen. The Kiri-ai, the Jewel, the rules were a little bit to get over, but once you do that, I think it's a super fast one, and it has an incredibly satisfying parry system, where if you're both perfectly landing an attack, and they're both successful at the same time, instead of actually both like hitting each other, you like parry blades. And I think that's a really nice way of it not just being over in 2 seconds, but when that happens, you're like, oh, I nearly got you. Well, I'm glad you also didn't get me. So that's a nice balance found there. Really did enjoy that one. So yeah, we played that back at the hotel, and then we also played again a little bit of Sea, Salt and Paper. We also that night played a little bit of this one called Huggy. which was it's a reprint of I think it's When the Guests Arrive. I've never played that. Oh, the theming of that one looks cool. This one, the theming is very much animals. It's quite nice and family friendly. And I actually really enjoyed this one. I'm not going to say I've won every time because that would be far from the truth. But it's a really cool way that you're taking an entire row or column from this market, and then you can maybe say, go, right, this bear is going to be storing these items. We're banking those points because you need to. Because if you can end the game and you're like, oh, I've got loads of animals left, but I can't use them because the game's over. But you kind of want to hold on to them because they can hold normally like one or two things, but it's types of things. So you can stack up a load of the same item and they can hold that, or do you just save and bank that points now and, well, maybe you'll get another one of those items later and have to have another animal just to hold that one card. Some cool choices in that and a really short game as well. That's Huggy. Excited to try that. Well, mostly I think I've actually only played that at 2, so I'm excited to play it with more people to see if it's quick round the table or just basically how that adapts your sort of choices throughout the game. The next day I was very fortunate to be joined in my first play by Libby from Boxed Meeples. We went over and played at the Osprey booth General Orders World War II, and I might like to say that I won. It was exceedingly close. It was the final turn of the game. I took her headquarters, and if I'd have failed in that attack, maybe she had an ambush card or something, if she had managed to stop me, she was on 6 points and I was on 5. So I was about to lose, and I managed to just take the headquarters and win. And it was for like a 20-25 minute game, had so much tension as you're placing your general like worker pieces out to either move troops into an area or maybe get some reinforcements off on a sideboard, which adds these discs back on, which are your troops, or like I'm going to place here and bombard a space over there and roll some dice. Not everyone's going to like those dice. In fact, one of my friends who played the game at the event said that he was a little bit put off because he got quite a few negative dice rolls when he was rolling, and it just meant that it was like, I had a plan, it's not going to work out because of this though. But I think you need those dice rolls just to mean it's to add that bit of risk. So like when you're pushing a load of troops in, it's not just like, yeah, I've got 5 troops, you've got 3, I win. There's that chance because the defender rolls a dice, they could get a 2 on it. It's only on one side, but they could get 2 and remove 2 of your forces as like an extra defending benefit. I'd like to try that one a little bit more. I didn't pick it up because I ran out of case space, but yeah, that was a pretty good one and a very enjoyable play with Libby as well. After that, I went and played this game here, which is Stitch for Stitch. Which I'm not entirely sure exactly what it translates to, but effectively someone's been murdered, you're an accomplice and you know who they are. You know which person of the 4 they are, and you know what murder weapon they used. And then you're using trick-taking to give away as little as possible, which is... There's been some games like this which have tried to use trick-taking and it's not worked. This one, however, really worked because I went and bought it, because it was that good, because I can see it getting to the table and being just a game with a bit of difference. Because it is kind of trick-taking in terms of everyone plays a card into the middle and then the person whose turn it is to be the accomplice tells everyone else which card wins the trick. So you then work out from that, okay, there's a hierarchy of weapon, person or number. And you're like, okay, so that card's 1, and there's 2 of that weapon out. But it's the lower number, so it's not for the it's not for the weapon they've said yes for that card, but maybe it's just the number, maybe it's the person, and over a few rounds of that trick-taking, you slowly start to piece together, and each time you get a guess, so you're like, right, it's this person and this weapon, and they're like, no, it's not. and then you're like, oh, I thought I might have cracked it, but maybe, alright, well, I think it is this person, but it's now not that weapon. And next round you get a bit more information, hopefully, and you can maybe use your cards to try and force them into telling you a bit of information that's going to help you. If you think it's the person, well, maybe try and rule out some weapons or something. Really enjoyed that one. Yeah, very excited to get that one back to the table. I then played a card game called Bananya, or something like that, and that was incredibly better than I anticipated. I looked at it while we were walking past. The guy sort of started saying, oh, would you like to give it a go? And I just sort of went, okay, sure. It looks different, and it was like you've got to play these cards and collect one of each kind, and you're like, right. But actually super fast. Each card's got a power, so when you play it down, maybe you are swapping cards with the player on your left. There's not many of those. They like really spice things up, but most of them are like you get to draw another card, or maybe steal one card from an opponent, or everyone draws something, and it was super simple. It's one of those card games which anyone could play as long as they can read, basically. Super simple. Yeah, I mean, it's not sort of the one I'd go back to and play, but I could definitely see some people enjoying it. Even if it's just for the weird, cute banana-iness. Yeah, that's apparently a thing now. And the final game that I played at Spiel, I played a number of things multiple times, back in the rooms and stuff, but that was Unmatched Adventures. This was one that was on my anticipated list, and it was on that list because of Unmatched, and it was on that list because, please, please, don't screw this up. And, well, Restoration Games did not screw it up. We didn't play a full game. We sort of played like a half game where everyone's health was half, the villain's health was half, as well as its minions. So we didn't play a proper game, but I got enough of a flavour of it, of the characters that were around the table, the 4 new characters. They're going to be quite a lot of fun to play as in normal Unmatched, but also the way the initiative track works is cool, where you shuffle a card for each player and then each of the monsters, the villain and its minions together. You turn one over, right, it's Mothman's turn, so he attacks someone. Then you're like, okay, let's hope it's one of the players. No, the Blob's turn, and you're like, oh, come on, there's 4 players, how are they getting 2 turns first? And then you're doing that in order, and that was a really cool and very neat system to just keep the game going. And then another way I was a bit worried, like, oh, how's this going to work? The monsters have in each deck, they have like, it's a really small, thin deck, but in one card says like, right, once this goes in the discard pile, reshuffle their deck. So you're like, okay, that's how that works. And as an Unmatched fan, I'm definitely going to be getting that experience because I've got so many Unmatched characters that I could also use in this co-op experience. I've beaten Mothman, even if it was like a half game. I'm excited to try and face him again with the same minions, different minions. Then there's the alien, the other big boss villain in the box. And I really enjoyed it. I was worried that I never thought they were going to muck it up, but I was a bit worried that it wouldn't be good. Like, it would be good, but not great. And it felt great. And now I not only want that, I want them to do more villains as well. That's how good that one was. So, yeah, really excited to have played that and to have played everything that I did, because a number of these games, like Caesar Fall of Rome, Caesar sees Rome in 20 minutes even, like that's just there because I got a review copy of it, so I put it there. But a number of these other games that you see here, and a few others that were in my Essen haul video, I've already played and have really enjoyed, and are gonna hit the table now I'm home as well. Woohoo! So very excited about that. Go and check out that full Essen haul video and stay subscribed because there's going to be a lot of reviews coming out over the next couple of months. 35 games or expansions and stuff I got at Spiel, I'm going to be busy playing games for a while, which is not a bad thing at all. But yeah, they were the games that I played while I was in Essen, and well, I was kind of lucky that there wasn't one that I thought was bad. Sometimes you go to a convention, like I went to UK Games Expo and played, I think it was Wild Serengeti, came out of that experience thinking, I'm glad I've played it because I don't need to ever think about that game or playing that game again, which is not how you want to come out of an experience. And well, so far, every single game I've played has been at least good, if not better, like unmatched. That was fantastic. Sunrise Lane, absolutely loved that, and I'm glad I got a review copy to play more. Sea Salt and Paper, which I keep trying to nearly call Sea Salt and Pepper. That's a really cool game, and I want to play more, and I want to play with the expansion, which I've not tried yet. So yeah, so many games to play. It's not a bad thing though. Thanks for watching though. I've skimmed over a lot of games because a lot of them I'm going to do proper reviews for. But I wanted to talk about what I played at Essen. I played lots of good games. I ate quite a lot of good food as well while I was there. Had a really good time. Well, until next year, have a great Spiel, which is game or play in English.